Joining us today is the former governor and current senator from Florida, Rick Scott. Senator Scott, welcome to Better for America.
Well, first off, thanks for what you do. Thanks for caring. Thanks for working hard. The big thing is, we've got to take our country back. That means we've got to all get way more involved if we want to have the country that we want our kids and our grandkids to live in, and we want to live in.
Senator, obviously something potentially historic could be happening very soon. Never has a former president been criminally charged, and there are a ton of layers of potential Trump indictments, but in my opinion, all of those layers are purely for political reasons. If you could give us and our listeners your take on what is going on here.
This is just a bunch of people that hate Trump. They hate Trump, they hate Trump, they hate Trump. They're going to do everything they can to bring him down. What's frustrating is this is a attorney that's backed by Soros. That's how he got there. That is not tough on crime, but he's tough on Trump. I think that if you do something wrong, you got to be held accountable. No ifs, ands, buts about it. But we can't have two standards of justice here. So I think it's great what Kevin McCarthy's doing, where they're going to do an investigation to make sure there's no federal funds that have gone to this guy to do this prosecution. But this is wrong. We shouldn't have political prosecutions. That's one thing I've been talking about, whether it's how Trump's been treated, or whether it's the inflation, or whether it's the open border, or whether it's our military focused more on pronouns rather than being the most lethal military in the world. I think Americans are going to have to show up. And by the way, you can protest. You have a right to protest in this country. Now, you should do a peaceful protest. Because I tell people all the time, I gave a speech last night in my hometown in Naples, and one thing I said is, get more involved. We all have to get more involved if we want a better American government.
We sure do, and that's why we're encouraging our listeners to get involved with AMAC, because we are doing so much here. And you mentioned the border, right? The border is another area of total incompetence. The southern border is so obvious, I think, to everyone listening, and we see how the Biden administration has been very ineffective. They've essentially have created a situation that has impacted many lives, have killed children, adults across the country with fentanyl deaths. What needs to be done, in your opinion, to fix the border crisis?
Well, I think when you look at the border, you have to say the Biden administration has been very effective of having an open border because it's been intentional. It wasn't like they didn't intend this. They intended to have an open border. And who's been great at making sure they have a secure border? The cartel. You're not getting across the border unless you pay the cartel. And what I don't understand is why the Biden administration and Secretary Mayorkas that runs Homeland Security, why he doesn't care about Americans. So we've had Border Patrol agents lose their life and get injured. Okay. We have last year, 70,000 people died of fentanyl overdose. American citizens died of fentanyl overdose. These are kids. These are our parents. These are brothers and sisters. These are kids that are dying. I just did a roundtable in D.C., and 4 of the people at the roundtable were parents that lost their kids. And this is fentanyl made in China. The precursors are made in China, brought to us by the cartel. The Biden administration doesn't care because it's intentional. I've been to the border a bunch. It's very intentional. One, we don't know who's coming across the border. We know the criminals are coming across. We know terrorists are coming across. The Biden administration just shut down the tethered sort of drones that tracked how many people are coming across because they don't want you to know. So this is very, very intentional on their part. They want an open border, and that means we're going to lose more American citizens of fentanyl. We're going to have more criminals coming to our country. We're going to have more terrorists coming to the country. We're going to have more Chinese spies coming to our country. And by the way, there's some good people that are going to be coming too. There's people who just want to come and live their dream. They should come in a legal manner, and that's how they should come. I think I like legal immigration. I'm all for legal immigration. I'm from a state that we believe in legal immigration, but not illegal immigration.
Why do you think this nation is turning so far to the left, almost just wants to break up the biological family and wants all Americans to embrace this new ideology? That's what makes no sense to me. What is your take? Because you've done great work there down in Florida.
Well, first of all, I don't think Americans have moved. I think what happens is there's some people that have an evil plan. And their evil plan is like, if you wanted to ruin our country, what would you do? Well, You tell our children that their parents are wrong, that we're a racist country, that we were built on racism. All right, we're an evil country. You tell people we're going to pay you not to work. You would tell people that, oh, don't go to church. You should focus on climate change. Don't Your new religion is that you're telling our kids that want to go in the military, oh, you better make sure you know the right pronouns for people. You'd have an open border. So if you look at all these things, I think there's an evil plan that's out there that people want to destroy this country. I put out my own plan and go to rescueamerica.com. And the first thing is every child should stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, salute the flag, learn that this is the greatest country ever built. We shouldn't divide people by race. Government should never ask you your skin color on a government forum. We all should be judged by how hard we worked, our character, not by the color of our skin. But they're trying to divide us based on our skin color, or based on our religion, or based on our non-religion, and all these things. So this is just people trying to destroy this country, and I'm not going to let it happen.
I love hearing that, and we need more strong leadership like your own. Thank you. We'll put a link to that rescue plan. That's so important. I have a final question for you, Senator, and that is really hope for America's future. With all of that, I mean, we discussed a lot of negative. I like to focus on the positive. Do you think that we'll have to wait until 2024 to really see good change in this country? How much do you think that the 118th Congress can accomplish? And what do you see for the future?
Well, it's up to us. Reality is people up here want to get reelected. If we go out there and are very clear what we expect our elected officials to do, they'll start doing it. It's really completely up to us. I think we have to have protest. We have to protest about the border. We have to protest about inflation. We have to protest about the things that the Democrats are doing that's hurting this country. And so when we do, the Democrats are going to be worried about elections. And guess what? They're going to start voting the right way. So it's up to us. How important it is to us. It's hard to protest. It's hard to write op-eds. It's hard to write letters. It's hard to go to people's offices and say, this is what I expect. It's hard to go to school board meetings. If we do, this country will change. I believe in this country. I believe people are going to show up and change the direction of the country.
That's wonderful, a good message, and I sure do have hope, and I'm betting on the American people because I do believe and agree with you that if enough people find courage and strength to speak up and band together, that we can certainly take this country back. We're going in the totally wrong direction. Senator Rick Scott, thank you so much for your time today. It's always a pleasure. We appreciate you joining us.
Have a great day. Thanks for doing this. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, you can listen to more just like it. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, or by downloading the AMAC app. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Until next time, I'm Rebecca Weber. This is your podcast, Better for America. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful evening.